Like, wind blowing as fuck out here. It's windy as shit, man. Alright, so, rare afternoon screening. Had a bunch of job interviews today. A couple callbacks to meet with higher ups and stuff like that. And we got done early, and I was near a movie theater, so I was like, I really want to see either Late Night with the Devil or Love Lies Bleeding. I wanted to see Love Lies Bleeding with Mets, but they were not available, so I went and saw it by myself. And yeah, man, this was very much what I expected, but also not at all what I expected. Directed by Rose Glass. I really liked their previous film, Saint Maud. I thought that was a really cool, fucked up movie, and this continues that tradition. You've got Kristen Stewart, you've got Ed Harris, you've got Caddy O'Brien, you've got Dave Franco, you've got Jenna Maloney. It is essentially a story of the daughter of an Albuquerque drug runner who meets a bodybuilder, and the two of them have a torrid relationship. But one instance kind of turns them into criminals, and they are constantly trying to stay one step ahead at all times. And yeah, this was a very dream-like movie, but also very stark. It reminded me a lot of like a mixture of Blood Simple, A Life Less Ordinary almost at points, and Boys Don't Cry. Kristen Stewart gets a lot of flack for like the Snow White and the Huntsman and the Twilight movies, but she is an incredible actress, and her, the stark, like I said again, the starkness of her performance in this one, the matter of factness of it, the rawness of it, is really something. And working with Caddy O'Brien, who I had seen in other things. I remember her on Walking Dead, and I remembered her in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and being like, wow, like, apparently she also found out about the role through social media, and being a bodybuilder herself, was like, to the producers, like, hey, what about me? And she's incredible in this movie. It's easy to say, way back when I did my Showgirls review, I said this movie is essentially body horror, and this is very much that as well. There's, aside from just the idea of what people will put their bodies through to grow and mass, the amount of blood and vomit and teeth and brain and sweat that are on display in this is really something. And Ed Harris, he's bald on top, but with the long hair, and when he's bathed in red light, he almost looks like something that like Garth Ennis would draw. There's this level of a dreamlike, almost blue velvety kind of vibe to it at times as well, when it's not just being flat and raw and real. Set in the 1980s in Albuquerque. So right away you're thinking, oh, okay, there's a parallel to Breaking Bad whenever I think of Albuquerque. And Jenna Maloney plays Jenna Maloney and Kristen Stewart are the daughters of Ed Harris. Ed Harris is a drug runner who owns a bunch of local businesses. And Dave Franco is Jenna Maloney's husband, and he beats the living shit out of her, but she's in love and she won't do anything about it. So that's why Kristen Stewart stays around. She hates her father, hasn't talked to him in years. She believes that her father killed her mother because he was going to tell the FBI. The FBI is constantly around. She meets and falls in love with this bodybuilder who's, basically homeless. She ran away from home, in Oklahoma, and she's working her way to Las Vegas to compete in this bodybuilding competition. And the two of them kind of have this torrid love affair, and and things are going well, but there's always a sense of, because they are such broken people, that at any time anything can go awry for them and come undone. Everything is always just a fucking house of cards for these people. And Kristen Stewart is roiding up Caddy O'Brien the entire movie, and you have these bizarre transformation scenes that we're seeing, and I think the other people in the theater thought it was real, because some lady was like, wait, she's the Hulk, and I turned around and I was like, oh, they don't get it, that's fine. But you have these shots where like her veins like pulsate, or at points where like, you know, her body's like almost morphing like she is the She-Hulk or something like that. All the way to the ending where it's the attack of the 50-foot woman, and obviously it's metaphor. You know, the movie's more fantastical elements are, you know, it's a visual representation of what it is to be jealous, or what it is to be in love, what it is to be out of control. You know, and in that regard, if you're just looking at it for a literal sense, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is happening right now? But if you just take it for what it is, and the raw, unbridled emotion that's involved in it, then you're gonna get something more out of it. I really, really enjoyed it. Fantastic soundtrack, fantastic score. This lady keeps driving around in circles, like looking at me because she sees me talking to myself, I guess. Um, but yeah, so yeah, I really, really dug this, man. I thought that Ed Harris was just fucking sinister, and how, and Dave Franco's a piece of shit, and the level of gore, and the level of you know, brutality that's on display, and sheer, you know, like material trauma, and you know, it's really, really something. You know, this is essentially at its core a queer love story. So I'm probably not the guy to you know, to give any insight on that element to it, but I'm watching it and I'm just totally engrossed in the kind of you know, the indie filmness of it all, but with this weird nightmarish, you know, twist to it. You know, when Kelly O'Brien's character is in the she does like a bunch of fucking drugs, and goes and does this the bodybuilding competition, and you know, and you just have like, the audio is all fucked up, and she thinks that the people are laughing at her backstage, and you know what they had done to Dave Franco like hits her all at the same time, and she pukes up she pukes up fucking Kristen Stewart on the stage, and it's really like, it's really nightmarish, what they do to Dave Franco, because he beat the shit out of his wife. She basically breaks his face open, his fucking jaws hang out, and their ultimate plan is, Kristen Stewart's ultimate plan is to drop his body down this like crevasse out in the desert, where her dad drops the bodies of informants, so that he never gets taken in by the FBI. And she thinks that like by the time the FBI realizes what's down there, they could be gone. But they had to play it cool and lay low. But her bodybuilding girlfriend couldn't do that. You know, and it's all these mistakes these people make that lead them away from the happy ending that they could have, or the goals that they have for themselves in life. And it's super interesting and quirky and weird, you know, especially when you get to the third act, and I like how quirky and weird it is, and I like that it never feels the need to soften things, and just, you know, in the scene when Kelly O'Brien attacks Dave Franco, she looks like a monster, you know. And that's not saying anything about women who are bodybuilders. My friend Abby was a power lifter, and I'm just so in awe of you know, fucking barbarian queens, Amazons, you know. But like in the scene, the way they shot her, she looks like a monster, and there's something so cool about that. And the way that they use the lighting in the movie too, it's a lot of like neons, and it's very sickly at times. So yeah, I don't know, I can't say enough good things about this movie. It's definitely not going to be for everybody, but for a Friday afternoon, to check out an art house film in a multiplex, you know, I was pretty happy with it, and I'm excited to see what else this director does. And you know, I take away like the IP stuff, like Twilight and stuff. Kristen Stewart's a really fucking good actress and does not get the respect that she deserves. And I also, with Caddy O'Brien, I can't say enough about using like a real fucking bodybuilder in the movie and not doing the Hollywood thing of like, you know, faking it to make someone look softer, prettier, more sexually appealing or something like that. They went with the rawness of it, but there is still something very sexual about that, you know, and the starkness and the reality of their relationship too, not doing the movie lesbian thing too, you know. So I dug it, man. I really dug it. And I don't know, I'm rambling at this point. But I'm gonna go see Late Night with the Devil with Dave and Lana. So I checked this one out now, and I hope you guys check it out too. A little art house movie. It's rare that I get to see more artsy stuff. So that's it.